occasionally things crop up with my mum and my sister, as it turned out. So I was engaged with them last night. I do apologise. Did have some things I wanted to tell you, though, about last night. I don't have enough time to go into it right now, but I want you to go and look something up today. Have you ever heard of the word gematria? And many of you will understand what gematria is. It's a numbers code. I've been doing a little bit of a dive into gematria for the last few years, but numbers and me, you know what they're like. Not terribly flash. However, it is worthwhile going and trying to get a little bit of knowledge on gematria. And if you're of a certain age, you grew up, listening to music in the 80s, you'll remember a band called Europe. They had a huge worldwide hit with a song called The Final Countdown. It's available on YouTube. I would urge you to go and have a look at that song, because we're going to talk about that in tonight's show for a little bit. There are a couple of very interesting things in that song that have piqued my interest, and thank you to the folks that have sort of pointed me in the right direction in that regard. It's very, very interesting indeed. G'day Sab, g'day Macca, hello Gay, Dave, and nice to see you all this morning. Sorry again about last night, and I'm out and about. I'm about to go and have a meeting with some folks this morning, so I've made a little bit of a drive north, and it's absolutely persistently precipitating. It is pouring down. And also, if you are on the roads, if you happen to drive a white Corolla hybrid which ends with the number plate XSD, I beg your pardon, XXXSD, yeah. You, sir, are a dickhead. My God. The amount of fools on the road this morning, and that was only in the dry. They exacerbate, apparently, as you get into the wetter areas. My God. Sunshine Coast, you are starring with dickhead drivers today, particularly out on the highway, on the Bruce. Very, very, very shitful driving today. Can I just point that out? If you are on the roads, folks, please be safe. There will be a show tonight. It might be a little bit earlier. It might not. I'm not exactly sure when I'm going to get back into Brisbane tonight. I do have half a show prepared. But as I said last night, I got caught up with a few family issues with Mum. And she's okay. It's all good. I won't go into it, but she's got new hearing aids, and I won't go into it. It's just novel. I hope I never have to suffer from that. So yeah, interesting stuff. And I had a bit of a catch up with my sister, who's going through a bit of a thing at the moment too. So apologies for last night, but there is going to be some interesting info thrown around tonight. I also wanted to touch base and commend to you an idea that Guru has come up with. I spoke with Guru yesterday after I saw a live that he put out. He was talking about climate change, and I really like the way that he has framed the climate. We're not going to talk about the weather. What if the climate change we have been told about that is occurring is in fact the people climate? The climate of the people is changing. It's an interesting way of viewing what's going on in the awakening world. Could that be the climate that they're referring to? Yes, I know that we see evidence of climate change in our skies, and right now I'm living it where I am. But could it be? Because they never tell us the truth. They're never direct. I think Guru's come up with something here. And even if it's not, that way, I think it's a great way of framing what we are doing. We have to change the climate of the people. The climate needs to gain a little more, this is going to be a bad word, intelligence, I was going to say. The climate of the people is changing. People are waking up. It's not a matter of intelligence. It's a matter of being able to draw back the curtains and being open to having those curtains drawn back, to doing your own research. I quite often get into a little back and forth on Facebook with a guy about flat Earth. Now, I think you all know my standard, or my opinion on flat Earth. I couldn't care less whether it's flat or it's round. I care about why they told us it wasn't flat, if it is. Why would they hide that from us? What is the reasoning behind that? That's what interests me. Should it turn out that the Earth is in fact flat? And by doing a little bit of research, you can find an awful lot of detail explaining why people might think the Earth is flat. All right? I don't care whether you believe it's flat or round. It doesn't matter to me one iota. I find it a very interesting question. Why is there so much talk about a flat Earth, and what evidence is there to support it? A lot of people will go to historical evidence to base their argument on the fact the Earth is a globe. I don't have the faith in history that many people have. I believe everything in our history is a lie. It has been manufactured to steer us in a certain direction and to keep us under control. That's what I believe. You may not believe that. You might believe some of our history is real. But I have seen far too much evidence of things that have been hidden, buried for centuries. Technology that has been hidden from us, buried from us, taken from us. And we have been corralled into slavery. I do believe that's exactly what's happened. And I've seen enough evidence to make me believe that. Not just because I think it's a cool thing to think about. It's a horrifying thing to think about and to realize that it's happened. Because when this starts to really dawn on you, you start to comprehend, if only in small pieces, the scale of this deception. The scale of this deception is beyond human comprehension for the most part. That's why we have so much resistance from people who may not see it our way. Our job, yours, mine, is to try and gently open their eyes, and sometimes not so gently open their eyes. There'll be those eyes that we will never open. There'll be those minds that will stay closed because they have taken in the brainwashing. And I'm not having a go at people for taking in the brainwashing, because the plan to brainwash the people has been so comprehensive, that unless you were a student like me that sat up the back, told jokes, didn't study, didn't do anything, remotely like being a good student. I got, mediocre grades. I wasn't an A student by any stretch of the imagination. The only time I was a good student was if I liked the subject, and that was English. Loved English. Was shithouse at maths. And there were a few other things that I didn't mind getting into. Funnily enough, ancient history was one of them. And my knowledge of ancient history, while not extensive and really only high school based, I've been able to ascertain that just about everything I was taught in my Catholic boarding school ancient history classes are lies. I won't bother getting into the religion classes that we used to have, and the lies that may have been involved in there. But I think what we need to do is have another look at this, the climate of the people. I think Guru's onto something there. Changing the climate of the people. If you had to gauge the climate of the people right now, would you gauge it as awake, asleep, awakening? Would you gauge it as non-violent, semi-violent, bubbling undercurrent of violence? I don't think there's a violence aspect in our movement at this juncture, so I would hope nobody comes up with that. I mean, we're all angry and a bit frustrated, but we're not a violent movement by any stretch of the imagination or by any qualification. So how would you gauge the climate in our community, in your community? And how do we keep adjusting that climate so that we are bringing more people over to understanding, to interpreting, to discerning, and asking questions. I think that's something we can all do. That's a message we can all take to people. We don't have to ram it down folks' throats. And what if the climate change that the government and the WHO and the WEF are talking about is actually the people's climate changing? A novel thought, and I think quite an interesting way to move forward, to take charge of the climate control or the climate change argument. Don't think it's a bad idea at all, and hats off to Guru for coming up with it. Hello, Veronique and Hunter and Sunflower. Hello, Sunflower. Yeah, there's a few things I'll bring up tonight, but the big one I think I want you to understand, or at least to get a little bit of homework on if you can, between now and tonight's show, is if you've never heard the word gematria before, please look it up. If you've never heard the Final Countdown song from Europe, go to YouTube, type in Europe, the Final Countdown, and have a listen to it. Better still, watch it. Watch it closely, all right? Have a look at the guy's eyes that's singing in a few different places of it. And there are a few other little interesting bits, but I'll see whether or not you pick them up tonight. So yeah, that'll be tonight, 6:30. That's the plan, at any rate. I am a few hundred k's from home, so we'll see how we go. God willing, and dickhead drivers off the road, we will get to the show this evening. Have yourself a great day. If you are on the roads, avoid the dickheads, particularly around the back of the Sunshine Coast on the bloody highway. My God, they're everywhere. And it's a little bit wet on the sunny coast today. Beautiful day in Brisbane, not a cloud in the sky. But yeah, get up here and it is persistently precipitating. That's probably not a bad thing, although it has been raining up here for a while, I'm led to believe. It does look a bit soggy underfoot, and the grass seems to be growing, well, pretty much a foot a minute at the moment, from what I can see. So the Sunshine Coast is green. It's not going to burn. That's good news. All right, folks, love you and leave you. I've got to hit the road and catch up with my meeting for this morning. Sunflower, it's been raining for weeks. Oh, yeah, well, that takes the fun out of living on the Sunshine Coast, doesn't it? And a bit out of the name. Have yourself a good day, folks. Watch out for those dickheads on the road, hey?